Hi everybody, Patty Ann here again today. Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you something different than what we did yesterday. If you'll remember yesterday, I showed you how to put heat transfer paper, the heat transfer paper onto shirts. And I did it on a purple shirt, a dark shirt, and I also did it on a light shirt. Today I'm going to use regular vinyl. And this is perfect for you if you're new with using vinyl. I'm going to show you step by step how to go ahead and put HTV heat transfer vinyl onto a shirt. Oh, as you can see right here, I have this shirt on. And I have linked up above how I did this. This is flock, HTV, and glitter on top of it. And it looks beautiful out in the sun. Not only did I do this, but I also put Cricut Love on the sleeve, which you can't see that well, but it turned out really cute. What I'm going to show you today, like I said, is how to use two different colors of vinyl and how to fix it a little bit in Silhouette Studio so that you don't have a lot of vinyl being layered on top of each other. In other words, if you look at this O right here, you can see I've cut the O out of the dinosaur shape, so when I heat press this on, I'm not going to have two layers of vinyl there, and it really helps to make your product turn out really super nice. So I hope you'll join me. Hey, if you're in the market to get Silhouette software, whether you want to use it for your Cricut or your Silhouette, I've got a code for you down below for 40% off. So let's get started. Okay, both of the things I've used today in the project are free from dafont.com, and you can see that right up here, dafont.com. I just typed in the word dinosaur right up here in the search area and said search, and when I did that, I came up with these things right here. Now, I really like this font right here, but since this is not going to be sublimation, which this would be beautiful for sublimation, but since this is going to be HTV, I wanted something that didn't have quite so many little pieces and things. That would be a nightmare, I think, for HTV. So I came down here and I saw this one called Dinosaur Cake, and I thought that was kind of cute. I like the angled look of it because it sort of looks like rocks or something like from the Stone Age. So what I did with that is I click on download. You can see it's downloading right here. So I'll double click on it to open it up. I cannot use it yet because I have to extract it. So I'll say extract all. I always just let it go to the folder that it goes to. And I always have this checked, show extracted files when complete. So I'll say extract. And there are my files. And now the next thing I'm going to do is there's this one that's called Open Type Font. I'm going to double click on that to open it, and then I'm going to click on the word install, and that's going to put it right on my computer. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to dafont.com, the same page, and these were the dinosaurs that I wanted to use, so I'm going to say download those. Again, they come down here as a zip file. I'll double click to open it. Again, I can't use them as they are. I have to extract all. I'll leave this checked, and the same thing right here, leave this in the same folder and say extract. Once it's extracted, I can double click on this and it shows what I'm going to get, and I'll say install. So this one's called Dinosaur Icons, and the other one, if you'll recall, whoops, I'll delete that, is Dinosaur Cake. So let's open Silhouette and see if we can see those. So this was where I was working, right? We'll open up a new page, and I'm going to write the word dino, all in caps, and whoops, and I'm going to see if I can change this font to the one I just downloaded. So click on this, come over here to the text style panel, click on that to open it, and then I'm going to go over here and see, do I have Dinosaur Cake? It's not in here. Okay, let's just see, was the dinosaur icons in here? I don't see them either. No, and you won't see them. So don't get frustrated. What you have to do is this. You've got to go ahead and close out your program and then reopen it, and then they'll show up. Okay, one nice thing about this software is, unlike Cricut, if your machine should freeze or something should happen, it's going to automatically save or recover things for you. So notice over here, of all these things that I could recover that maybe I didn't save at one point. Okay, so I'm just going to say discard all, because I don't need these things. Discard. So what I wanted to do now is I wanted to see if I come over here to the text tool, click here, have my cap locks on. If I go Dino again, and now if I come over here after I click off and click back on to select it, come over here to the text style panel, will dinosaur cake show up? And it better. Dinosaur cake. There it is. Dinosaur cake. Perfect. All right. So what I wanted to do on my shirt was I wanted to put dino, and then underneath of that I want to put the word might separately. So I'm going to put all caps M-I-T-E. Now notice that these are different, right? And if I want this to be exactly the same size and the same font as this, I could go about that in a little bit of a long roundabout way. But a trick to using the Silhouette software, I believe maybe Designer Edition and above, is click on this to select it, and then you come over here to this eyedropper that's at the very bottom. I absolutely love this eyedropper. When I click on something, I'll click on this eyedropper, and it's going to transfer the properties of this to this. Click. Perfect. Now they're exactly the same size, and that's exactly what I want. Okay, so now we need to bring in that dinosaur. So I'm just going to come over here to the text tool again, and type in the letter A, click off and click back on, and then come over here to the text style panel again. And remember, those were called dinosaur icons. So I'm going to scroll down here. These are in alphabetical order. Dinosaur, there they are, icons. Okay. So actually this is not the guy that I used. Okay, but I could use him if I wanted to. But an easy way to find the one you want to use is to come up here now to where it says a G for the word glyph. Click on that, and you can make these larger by moving this little slider across. And the one that I used was, I think I used this guy right here. So I'm going to double click on him to open him up, and I'm going to delete this one. So let's stretch him out and see what he looks like. Okay, yeah, that's the one I used. Now I'm going to teach you a little bit of stuff. Whoopsie. A little something that's going to help you use this better, because you see all of these little slits in here. I don't really want them to be like that. So the first thing I'm going to do now, this is a little bit more involved, but I think you're ready for it. We're going to right click on him and say release the compound path. Okay, notice that did something to his eye and these little two pieces right here. Let me undo it and you'll see his eye right now is cut out, as are these two little pieces. If I say right click and release the compound path, now his eye is no longer cut out, and nor are these pieces. But before I do anything else, I do want his eye to be cut out so the red shirt shows in there. So I'm going to click on, well, I've got to ungroup it first. Got to right click and say ungroup. Now I can click on his eye, hold down my shift key, click on the dinosaur, and I want to subtract that eyeball right out of the rest of his body so we can see through it. So to subtract, you just come way over here to these tools on this side. Now don't let all these tools scare you. You'll just use a couple of them most of the time. Take my free classes over on my website in the class area and you'll learn more about this. But we'll go down here to this tool right here that's called the Modify panel. I'm going to open the Modify panel, and what did I say I wanted to do? I want to subtract that eyeball out of the rest of the body. So with those two things selected, I'll say subtract. Now check that out. Now his eyeball is out. And I can get rid of these two pieces that were in him as well and delete those. Okay. But the other thing is I don't really want the dinosaur to cut like this. I don't. You could leave it like this if you wanted to, but I'm going to show you something else you can do, and that is to play with what are called points or nodes. So when I double click on him, notice all these little boxes that came out. All these little boxes. See those? Those are called nodes. And when you click on a node, watch what happens. It turns white, which means it's the active node, which I like to think means I can act on it. I can do something to it. I'm going to do something to it. I'm going to delete it just by hitting delete on my keyboard. And now I'm going to click on this one right here to make it the active node and hit delete. So let's scroll out a little bit so you can see what's happening. See, I want to get all the way down here so there's no cut here. So I'm going to delete this node. I'm going to highlight this one and make it active. Delete. And this next one, I guess I'll delete that. And if I want to, I could even delete this last one that's white right here and delete. So let's scroll out now and see what we have. Okay, that's looking pretty good, right? Let's do the same thing to this part right here. So I'm going to double click. I can scroll in so I can see better what I'm doing. Click on this node, delete. Click on the next white one, delete. Okay, this one's the next white one, but I think I'll change and make this one the active one by clicking on it and say delete. And I'll delete that one, and I'm going to come up here and delete this one. And let's see, what do we have? Let's scroll out and see if I'm happy with that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now, in some of the classes, I might teach you to do a little bit more here, like maybe delete this node or move it or rearrange it like this a little bit to make it a softer curve. But that's a little bit more advanced. So we're going to start up here again. I'll double click to get the nodes back. Click on one, delete. That next white one I want to delete. That white one I want to delete. Let's see, where are we? Okay, this I don't like, so I'm going to delete this one. Okay, I don't like the way that ended up particularly. So what I can do if I want to is double click on this right there, and it's going to put in a node. So I can just go ahead and shape this however I'd like, and maybe delete this one. So let's scroll back out and see how he's looking. So don't let this scare you, because you could have done it just the way it was. I just wanted to fix mine a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with this part right here. Delete, delete, click on this one, delete, let's see, and maybe this one, delete. Okay, to me, well, let's scroll in and make sure. Okay, there's a little spot in there I don't want. So let's scroll. Let's delete that. Whoops, make it active by clicking on it, make it white, delete. Okay, so that messed it up a little bit. So again, this is advanced. You might like it just like that. I actually kind of do, so I think I'll leave it. But if I did it, what I could do is double click on him again, and then when I get this little arrow here, see if I scroll in if it gets bigger. It's a little arrow with a diagonal line there. That means I can add a node there, and I can reshape this if I want to. So he's looking pretty perfect to me right now. So the next thing that I did was I was trying to figure out where did I want him to be. I was going to make him about that big. Let's see, what did I do? Okay, I put dino and then I put might underneath of it like this, I believe. So let's see. the first thing I might want to do, I can bring this to the front. So I say right click and bring to the front, because I'm going to subtract this O out of the dinosaur. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and hold down my Alt key, which changes my cursor, and drag one over. And I'll do the same thing with the word might. Oops. Alt, it gets a plus sign right there, and I can drag an extra one over. And now I could just go ahead and subtract this out, but what I decided I wanted to do was offset this a little bit. So when I bring the vinyl in here, there's just going to be a wee teeny little bit of a space there where it'll be easier for me to maneuver. So I'm going to grab this guy, going to come way over here to the offset panel. It's a star with an offset on it, and I'm going to say offset. Okay, that might be a little bit bigger than what I want, so I'll make my offset smaller by changing the distance here. And once I'm happy with that, I can go ahead and drag the original out. And I think what I'll do is I'll make this a color so you can see it better. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab this O, hold down my shift key, grab the dinosaur, and come way over here to the modify panel again. So notice we haven't been using very many tools over here. We use the offset and the modify panel with subtract. Okay, so that subtracted that right out of there. I can get rid of this part of the word dinosaur. And this piece right here is not attached right now, so I'm going to do my back button to put it back. I'm going to grab those things and say group so they stay together. Now let's check it out. I'm going to bring the word dino, my original word. I'll change its color to something else so you can see. And I'll bring it over here. And look how nice that's going to fit in there perfectly, just like that. And we're not going to have 2 layers of vinyl here, which is going to make it a little bit thicker. It's going to look a lot better like that. So now I'm going to bring the word might over here, dino might. And you know, chances are I could stick it right here and I really don't need to do anything. But if you want to practice one more time, we can have it overlap a little bit like that. I can right click on the word might and bring it to the front. And then I'm going to take the word dino, hold down my shift key, grab my dinosaur, come up here to the modify panel once again. When it's open, I'll say subtract. So that subtracted that whole word right out of there. But now you'll notice if I bring the word might over here, it's going to fit in here better than it had before. And I didn't really feel like I needed to offset this one since there was space in there as already. Like that. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to group both of these together, and I want to see what is my width. To check on your t-shirt, whether you're doing a kid's onesie or an adult shirt, that'll give you an idea of how wide you want it to be. I checked on Levi's shirt, and I decided that I really like, because he has a, what is this? I think it's a youth small maybe. I wanted his to be about 8 or 9 inches wide. So I'm going to skinny this up a little bit. There's 8 inches wide. Select the dynamite and drag it over. Let's make sure that this guy is grouped together. So now this is going to give me even better idea. For the word, whoopsie, let me see. I want those to stay exactly where they were. Make sure I didn't mess anything up. Okay. So I got to group these together so they don't move. Group. So for the word dynamite, the words, I'm going to have a piece of vinyl that's at least 3.733. I always add another inch or so. So I might cut this 5 inches, my vinyl 5 inches this way. And looking here, I might make it 7 inches just to be safe. After I cut this then, I will go to my dinosaur next and see what sizes of vinyl I need to cut for him. And I'd put it up in the upper left-hand corner. Okay, as you can see here, I've already cut the green vinyl and I've put it on my mat. My mat is not very sticky, so I'm going to use a little bit of pink tape, masking tape, whatever, to make sure that it stays and doesn't move while it is being cut. Okay, as you can see, I have it set to heat transfer flocked, and I've upped my blade depth a little bit. Right now, I'm simply doing a test cut. I always recommend that you do those. You just don't know if your blade has, had a little bit more wear and tear on it or whatever. So I'm making sure that the flock gets cut perfectly, but it does not cut the backing material. So both the triangle and the square cut, and I'm checking to make sure it did not cut through there. So it's perfect. I'm going to stick it back in my machine and I'm ready to cut it. Okay, at this point now I am removing the excess vinyl away from the dinosaur so that all I'll be left with is my dinosaur on my transfer paper. Okay, it's not as important for the dinosaur, but if you ever have text on something, you need to make sure you mirror it or flip it horizontally so that it is readable when you actually put it on your shirt. So in this case, I did mirror the green dinosaur, and now I'm going to show you mirroring the words. So I can right click and say flip horizontally, and then that way that will fit perfectly inside of the dinosaur that I've already mirrored, and when it's put onto my shirt it's going to be readable. It's not going to be backwards. So don't forget that whenever ever you use HTV, just remember to mirror everything. Always mirror HTV, always mirror HTV. Okay, at this point I'm just going to cut my dark brown vinyl, heat transfer vinyl, flock heat transfer vinyl. And after I cut it to the dimensions that I've decided I need, I will stick it on my sticky mat, put a little bit of that pink tape on it again to hold it into place, and cut it out. Okay, next up I'll weed away the excess flock that I don't need, the extra flock that I don't need. So that's going to leave me with the lettering. And now I'll just put both pieces together just so I can see how they're going to look. And obviously the text will go over top and the O will fit perfectly. And that is how it's going to be on my shirt. Okay, I've already gotten this down on my shirt, but I realized I forgot to take my easy press and go ahead and press this to get the moisture out. So I need to do that first. Don't forget this part. Notice the shirt looks a little discolored, but that will go back to the regular color after it cools off. I like to use this thing that I got from the Rhinestone World. It tells me for Caesar vinyl what to do. And so for strip flock, it says it should be 320 degrees for 10 to 15 seconds. So what I'm going to do is measure down an inch. I have my little press in here, this thing under here, my quilter's cut and press, because I can just let this hang off the edge there and I don't have to worry about it getting, making a lump under my easy press. So I'm just kind of centering this, and I'm going to have it about 1.5 inches, maybe like 3 fingers down from the neckline is where it's going to start. So I'm just going to place it here first to see how I like it. Let's see. I'm looking to see, does that look centered well? So that looks good, and I hear my easy press calling me. So the first thing I'm going to do is just press on the dinosaur first and just do him for a few seconds, long enough to release the sticky flock from the carrier sheet. And then I'll do the black or the dark brown next. So I'm going to put my sheet on here, and hopefully it's not dirty anymore. Yesterday, maybe you saw I got a little bit of goo on my shirt. There's that. So I'm just going to do this for about 5 seconds and see if that's enough. Now, strip flock is, in general, it's a cold press, a cold peel. But since I'm doing it like this, oh, look, that wasn't enough. Okay, it's not stuck. So if that happens to you, all you have to do is come back and do a little bit more. Okay, let's see how that did. You see that big mark here? That will go away. That's just temporary. Okay, once again, after I have everything placed according to the position it should be in, I'm going to use my easy press at 320 degrees for 15 seconds with a firm pressure after placing my Teflon sheet on top. So again, 320, 15 seconds, firm pressure. Okay, and now to peel off the text carrier sheet. And remember, that little square that you see, that discoloration, that will not remain. That is just because it's very, very hot. And don't forget, when you use this flock, it is a cold peel. So I'm just trying to rub that on the cooler part of my desk for a minute using my cold hands. Just trying to hurry it up so I can show it to you so we can have the final reveal. And now the final thing that I'm going to do is I'll flip it over and put it back on my ironing station and give it a press from the back, just to make sure that everything's well done. Maybe about 5 seconds, and as you can see, I'm doing a firm pressure. So that is it. Turned out beautifully. I think it's super cute. I was just thinking, another fun thing to do might be, since this is a kid's shirt, all those scraps I had left over, why not let the child cut out some different designs or something, some different shapes to just add anywhere on their shirt that they'd like, just for fun, let them customize it a little bit. I think that'd be a super fun thing to do for them. So that's it. I hope you liked my videos, and you'll give me a thumbs up and subscribe, tell your friends. And if you have a suggestion for a YouTube video that you'd like, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you all again next time.